On. Well, hello, everyone. Friday night. How are you? Welcome to the program. Have a special guest tonight. Caz, is it Hawke? How is the last name?
Hawke.
That's what I thought. And Caz is from over in England. Won't give your specific location. Hi, Brian. How you doing? So we're going to be talking tonight about the things that we're seeing in the sky. I know, Caz, that you had one particularly over on your channel, which I left the link below, that even the moon seems to be not normal.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing's normal.
Well, you know, I know it's very early or very late, depending on your perspective over there. I just want to say thank you for joining us. And so we're going to be talking about some things that I think most of us have thought about. And I know that for myself, I think when this reality began to hit me, how long ago? I guess it was a little bit after 2012 where I began to hear about Planet X, Nibiru. Really wasn't too much aware of what the sky was. I mean, I was a elite frequent flyer, you know, doing well over 100,000 plus miles a year. And quite frankly, I just never even saw anything. So when did you start becoming kind of aware of what something isn't right, Caz?
Well, it was when I moved back to England in 2015, because I'd just been living in Ibiza for 10 years.
Okay.
And I came back home to make a better living. And that's when I noticed that the sky, for one, the sun was the wrong colour. And the sky, the clouds had a tinge of pink in the day. And it just blew my mind. And I was just remember saying to my parents, what's going on? What's going on with this sky? You know, it's not right.
Now, did they notice it?
Pardon?
Did they notice it? Did they notice any changes?
No. Everything I said, they had an answer for, and I was like, what? And I just it became a passion for me to find out what was going on, because I knew the sun, when I was like filming the sun, it was like it was being eaten, do you know, when you're filming it. And every time there's something going on with the sun, it was covered by a convenient big black cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Amazing how that happens, huh?
Isn't it? Yeah. And I was just determined to get to the bottom of it, you know, and I've been doing it ever since.
So I am sure that you have experienced what many of us have, and that is it's called many times by many names, but going down the rabbit hole, because it gets a little weird when you start pulling away or peeling away the onion layers, is what I say.
Weird, well, very weird. Sometimes it's hard to pull yourself out and keep on of what's going on in here, because it is mind-blowing. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Caz, because to show you how our species, we live in this constant world of illusion, and we try to find foundation to reality. You know, they said, people say, keep your feet on the ground. Well, that's very difficult when the ground keeps changing.
Definitely.
And it's what we're seeing in the sky.
Yeah.
I'll just let everyone know, Monday night, I spoke to Claudia earlier, and she has discovered something that, folks, I just think it does not bode well for what we think is coming in. And now I've contended for well over a year now. I've made videos on the subject that I had a sense that our solar system was moving into what the best I could call was another system, and that this system was very dense with lots of objects, and that it could be something that we've experienced before. I think this is a dance that we're doing. I don't have any proof on that, but what Dr. Albers has been able to show, Caz, is that something is not right, and it does not look well for us folks. So, Caz, on your end, you and I had communicated by email that you had saw what you thought was also kind of the matrix on the moon, kind of a holographic effect.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was like filming them. I was just filming the sky. Yeah, the moon wasn't even there. And then all of a sudden, like this, when you look at it closely, you can see like something goes where I'm filming, and all of a sudden the half moon just comes up from the bottom and goes, and it's there, bright as you like. And I was like, what's
like someone forgot to put the switch on.
Yeah, it's like, quick, put the moon out before anyone notices, sort of thing. But you know, more and more I see things, and it's like nothing becomes a shock anymore, because I've seen that many crazy things in a short space of time. It's like my mind's going, so what's next? Bring it on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy. It's like, I don't know if you've seen what I put in the folder, but one night I stepped outside the back door, and luckily I had my phone in my pocket, and there was this perfect white square travelling across the sky from across the road. And I call it like the window in the sky, because it was a perfect sort of rectangle, and it just moved really slowly. And I managed to snap some photos there in that folder that you can't find.
Yeah, I actually had the folder, folks, and guess what? It just not there.
It's vanished.
But we're gonna look for it.
Yeah, you better find it. Yeah.
Yes, like it's there somewhere. But well, it's very interesting, because I am becoming more and more convinced that we're not looking at what is the normal sky. I know that that sounds preposterous. I realize that it completely defies any type of rational thinking. However, there's not just your observation, but there's observations now of people all over the world, myself included, that we're just continuing to see more anomalies. You had mentioned about the sun and the color. You see, when I was growing up, I can remember a sun that is not what it's today. Here, it's very bright white.
Same here.
And I remember, in fact, I was out today doing some fire mitigation, and I can tell you, I was hitting on the UV meter. We were hitting almost 13. Now, that's unprecedented, and the sun hurts to be out in it.
It does hurt. Yeah, same here.
Okay. So, and I was talking to some construction workers that were building a deck a couple of houses down from where I was at, and they were wearing long sleeves, dark long sleeve. One was actually, I would almost say, was kind of like a hoodie. Now it got up to about 92 here today. And I asked the one, I said, so when did you start, wearing something that's dark and full sleeves? And he said, starting a couple of years ago, he said, it got to be so bad working out in the sun, and he's a dark-skinned individual. He said, you can't stay out in the sun all day.
No, it's bad, isn't it?
Something's changed.
Definitely changed. Definitely.
Now, you experience that over there in England. That's very interesting. The same phenomenon.
I was out in the sun, not yesterday, the day before, for 2 hours. I was looking for cars with a friend, and I said to her, I've got to go in. All my arms had come up in a prickly heat. And I'm normally quite used to the sun, because I work outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a headache, and my face was bright red. And I just thought, crikey, this is only, well, it was still May then. What's it going to be like in July and August?
Yes. Yeah.
Whoa.
And that is, by the way, hi, Jerry. Hello, everyone in the chat room. Just wanted to say we got just a little crowd here going. So we began to see this I live in Colorado.
Yeah.
And we began to see this effect. I started writing it down last fall. And as we began to enter winter here, our temperatures were running, for the most part, about 20 degrees above normal. And we had a very dry winter. And I've told my wife, I said, my concern is if we here in the United States in the Northern Hemisphere, particularly at your latitude, up where I'm at, I live almost at 6,000 feet in elevation, that if it's going to be 20 degrees above normal in the summertime, we potentially are going to be looking at temperatures here of 110, 115 degrees.
It's too much, isn't it? People are going to just be dropping out flies.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Now, when's the last time that you can remember? I think it was a couple of years. Didn't Great Britain have a heat wave? Or am I thinking further back than that?
I think, well, since I've been back 3 years, last summer was hot, but it was more humid. And I don't know about you, but with thunderstorms, growing up, we used to listen to the thunder come rolling in, right? I haven't heard thunder since I've been back.
Really?
No. We've had lightning. We've had rain with lightning, but we don't get thunder. And I've been trying to figure this one out, yeah. It's really confused me.
That is interesting.
You always get that anxiety sort of love-hate storm feeling when they were coming in. And when they were getting closer, used to count between the lightning and the thunder.
Right.
How close it was, yeah. Don't get that anymore.
That's very interesting because as a child, I remember the same thing. I would count the seconds and, you knew how far the thunder was away. That is very interesting. Now, I know we have subscribers and listeners in India. Hi, Jennifer, how you doing? They are enduring some hellacious heat.
Yeah.
It's off the charts.
Crazy, yeah.
So I have something here that I thought was really interesting because, you see, I think that there's something going on. And I brought this up because of a subscriber who sent me, and I thought since we were discussing how we see the matrix breaking down in the sky, I just wanted to bring this up for the discussion with the group, and Caz also to get your take on it. So this is the picture that was broadcast by the China news agency. I believe this was it wasn't in Shanghai, but it was.
I'm seeing this, yeah.
So this phenomenon is showing up all over the world now, that there are apparently great cities that, they seem to be, they say that there is a effect on this, and the effect name escapes me, but it can't be this effect because the effect that they're speaking of is always on the horizon, typically no more than 10 degrees above that. And we see that effect if you've ever seen a heat mirage. Caz, I don't know if you've ever seen that. So this effect is something that is puzzling. I mean, I think for the Chinese government to let it out, of course, they did as best job they could to retract their steps, didn't work. So it kind of begins to make me think that there is something truly going on.
Yeah, there is. There's definitely something going on. And I think they're running out of things to say about it, to cover it up, you know.
So here's another one. Have you heard about the sounds in the sky?
I have, yeah. But I've never heard any yet.
Let's see. Here's another. Okay, I got us on. Hold on one second. I got us on delay on one side and not on the other. So give me 1 second. My apologies on this. Okay. It doesn't hurt when you get there. We go. You start getting the feedback, and now I think I can do this. All right. So let's go back to the video. Folks, I really do know how to drive this.
As bad as me.
Yeah, well, as he says, let me go here. Okay, so let me see if I can get this to play again. Can you hear that? Give it a second. Now, I recorded this in Denver as well and posted it on my channel.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I can just hear it.
This one's very faint.
Yeah.
But you can hear that low hum.
Yeah.
Hear that?
Yeah.
Now, I recorded this in the winter here in, literally, I stepped outside my door.
Wow.
So that one's a low hum. This one I found particularly of interest.
And that strange noise.
What is that?
He was eating lunch.
Yeah, I've just seen it. Yeah. Okay.
What is that?
That one is one
Trippy.
that is, yeah, you're right. It is trippy.
That was like.
Here's another one. This is in England, Southampton.
Very, very eerie.
It'll come back here. Here it comes. I think it's on some of these I hear is like an oscillation. I'll go back here.
Very, very eerie.
Oh, yeah.
So there we go. Strange sounds in the sky, no doubt. I've heard them. I'm not curious. Let's see how it's going in the chat room. Y'all ever heard this?
That second one, that was like a feedback, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that one is, as you can see, that happened in Minnesota. It was in February when I was recording here in Denver, the same type of similar sounds. So And now they're again showing up all over the world. There are some that do, in fact, sound like trumpets. Yes, the Fata Morgana. Thank you. That's what that's what they tried to pass that off as, that aberration.
What was it?
I have to get that back up. Free no charge. Hey, appreciate it. It's the Fata Morgana. It's where mirages that are distorted by objects. You can actually see sometimes, they've shown effects where mountains look like they were cut in two. But yeah, thank you. So we're getting strange objects, cities in the sky, floating all over the world. We're hearing sounds that either are like trumpets, like I think sometimes it's I swear it's like the Schumann resonance is changing of the earth. That's what I continue to hear. Or then other times it just feels like there's something scraping. Either
reminds me of submarines rubbing together or something.
Yeah.
Big metal iron things.
Beta testing for Operation Fire Sign. Brenda, I'll have to look that up. It's a shame that they go and take one of the best comedy groups of the 70s, Fire Sign Theater, and begin to make it for some kind of end of the world thing. And I think that that's my point to this, Caz, is that everything that you've experienced, what you have begun to document over on your channel, and folks, go over and check her channel out and subscribe to it. I've left the link there. We've got more and more evidence that this cannot just be all serendipitously happening just by coincidence.
No. And you know what, Wayne? With the chemtrails, more to the islands than you see with them for sure. They're not just spraying and using it as to black out the sky. They've got another purpose, and I'm adamant about that. And I think you can see, I mean, can you remember, did you see that video I sent you?
Yes.
Attached. And there's definitely something going on with the chemtrails, because you can see them link up. You have to really give it study to notice it, you give it a lot of time. And that's what I've done with them over the past 3 years, is really analyze them. And I've got a night vision as well, so I can see what they're doing at night. So I'll have to do a show just with the night vision. Yeah,
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing at night? Now, I can see them here at night going over. So are they spraying?
Yeah. And the thing is, with the planes, they've got a different sound to them, these fake planes they're using. While I was waiting to connect up with you, I watched 3 go over within the space of 30 seconds in between. And they've got a weird echo sound, They're not like a normal jet. They've got like this, it's like a projected sound.
Interesting.
It comes not at the time of the aircraft is flying. It's a delay, yeah. And when you actually see a proper jet go over, it's in sync with the jet. But with chem planes, one, I believe they're not proper planes at all. And they're too small, they're too fast, and they're just wrong. And they're moving. I was watching it, and it was moving like it was jittering, like it was on the end of a stick. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And they don't sound right.
Well, that tells me that this is, again, not just a U.S. phenomenon, but it's happening in Britain. It's happening other places in Europe. I wanted to make everyone in the audience aware that, China is now, they have operating fast. the radio telescope. And it's fascinating when you see what this radio telescope, it's the largest in the world, 500 meters across. They became operational last year, and it appears by all evidence that the Chinese authorities, their government, is in a heightened pace to make contact. We look at Russia. Russia has been spending inordinate amount of their national GDP in building underground facilities for their population. In fact, if I am correct on this, Russia is more prepared to basically evacuate its population than any other nation that is out there. So it often makes me wonder, Caz, we and I know, speaking here from the United States, we get so wrapped up that we think that, well, if it's not NASA, if it's not the ESA, then it doesn't exist, or if it's out of them, then it's a fraud. And I keep on saying, but what time out here? I mean, China is very well aware of what's going on. They're obviously doing it. Russia's doing it. So it seems to be leading to something.
It does, doesn't it? And we've seen it with Russia. They've got bases that can fit 100% of their population into. Did I hear that?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So they've clued up about something, yeah.
It makes you try to think about, well, if things are going to go nuclear, and when I use the word nuclear, I don't mean necessarily, a splitting of atoms. When I'm talking about situations beginning to unravel at the same time, all impacting us at the same time.
Yeah.
I keep on thinking here, for the United States, I was looking at a report today on the food production.
Yeah.
Caz, we're in deep trouble. I mean, I may be a little older than you, but I'll throw this out there to the chat room. How many have remembered Charleston Heston's movie Soylent Green? That. Now, here's the strange thing about that. If you go back and watch that 1970s sci-fi flick, look at the numbers that they were saying of the world's population. Folks, we're rapidly hitting that, which was science fiction, 35, almost 40 years ago. And the only way that they could feed us was that they were feeding us. So if you've never seen the movie, go and check it out, Caz. It's one that
it's called again.
It's called Soylent Green.
Right.
Soylent Green is what they were called energized food biscuits that they learned. Charleston Heston did. He was a cop that instead of burying people, they just put them into waste disposal plants and processed the proteins out of the dead bodies, and then that's what they were given to people to eat.
Oh, God. Well, I'm going to have to write that one down.
Trust me, it's one that you would...
Because the thing is, Wayne, everything that you bring up on here actually happens, yeah. So
people ask me, I started a book back in 2002 and was well written. It was a great novel. It was a good sci-fi book. I quit writing it because what I was writing was just that. Things were coming to pass. And I said, well, so something is going on, though.
Something is going on.
Something is going on. So I want to pull up another odd little story that to show you folks, I think that we're in what we would call a predictive programming that's taking place. So here is a story, 3 possible ways, right, that civilization could end. And get this, folks, there's 3 possibilities. One is that we will be killed off by one of 3 ways. They've used these models, etc. But so here it is. Could go through a soft landing, a gradual die-off, or a full-blown collapse. Now, I've contended, Caz, and you've watched enough of my videos, that I've contended we are in bucket 3. And this is what I found so interesting. So the most positive outcome for us, Caz, and this is what I think they're getting us prepared for, is a soft landing, which is where we avoid mass extinction. Now, if you're religious and you happen to believe in prophetic messages from an unseen God that's telling us that, well, as a species, we're screwed, there's going to be 5 or 6 billion of you die, but you're not going to have a mass extinction. Well, this is your bucket. Here's bucket number 2. This happens when a civilization adapts to radical changing weather and sea levels over time, and they dodge the bullet. Well, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. The last one is a full-blown collapse, which means our planet was too sensitive to recover from the damage caused by humankind. It goes on to talk about that we are most likely, if you look at bucket 2, they don't think that one's realistic because we're apparently past the tipping point. Again, we look at what's going on in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So, as Dr. Albers has pointed out, and now she's being validated, that there's admitting by those scientists that are saying something has happened. Something's happened in Hawaii that Mauna Lea has this time blown its lid, so to speak. So what are we seeing? Are they preparing us for something?
Who knows?
I think they are.
I'd like to say. But I'll tell you something. I had a chat with my mum, not yesterday, day before, because, right, I've got to this point now where I need to let them in gently. I've been trying to for a long time. And my dad, it just switches off. It just changes the subject. My mum will end up just walking off. But the other day I managed to sit down and have a chat, a gentle chat. So in a way that I said, look, I'm telling you this because when things do start happening, I don't want you to be terrified out your mind. So I was very delicate and just showing little bits and bobs. Did you watch that last video I put up about the pink dust?
I am pulling it up on your channel now. I'm just getting one of your videos queued up.
Cool, because that's the one I let her in gently with, because I said, this isn't right. And it's like the whole valley was covered in this pink dust and it just came down out of nowhere. And that's the one that started me talking to her. So it's a good one to let her in gently because I could show her.
Yeah.
I could show her what's happening. So, and she did kind of understand, but she said, it's a lot to take in, Caz. Yeah, that's the one.
So this is in England, right?
Yeah. And
beautiful country, by the way.
It's beautiful where I deliver around.
Look at that.
Look at it. So thick.
So this is a phenomenon now where we're seeing the pink hues. I mean, I'm seeing them here in Colorado so much. So is this during the middle of the day, Caz?
Yeah. This was about, let me think. It was about 4:30.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. So, this I drove out the town that I live in, and I was going to do a delivery. And this is like at the top of the valley. where that's pointing now, you look down and you can see as far as the eye can see.
Okay.
So it's one of my favourite view spots. And it was just, I had to stop because it was just, and get some footage because, and this was the night before, outside my bedroom window. The pink dust was just flying past the lamppost.
That's very interesting.
It was so thick.
Now, I've heard reports coming out of, I think it's the Manitouk area of Canada.
Yeah.
You know, getting similar type of red rust type residue in there on the ground. The other one I wanted to show while I was on your channel was to also, I saw that you had did some filming at night. Here we go.
Yeah. I do like my night vision.
So can you see this?
Yeah.
So look at this, folks. I mean, this validates that they are spraying at night.
Do you see how it's fizzing?
Mm-hmm.
Fizzing and buzzing. That's above my house. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think it was 3 days ago. It wasn't today, but 3 days ago, they were playing tic-tac-toe over my house.
Were they?
I don't know who won, but it was definitely the tic-tac-toe grid pattern.
And
That is the, you know, and so this is interesting because, Caz, you know, I have similar type of reaction to the aerosol injection that's going on. So it tells me that there's some uniformity in what they're spraying across this globe.
Yeah. And the night vision really picks up.
It does. Look at this.
It's like a bubble.
I want to stop right there and let's do some analysis on this.
Yeah.
So this is night. So what you're picking up in your night vision is what?
Well, that's infrared.
Yes.
I'm using infrared, yeah.
So this is emanating heat, light?
Yeah, well, it's picking out the dark matter, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. You know, it's quite interesting, folks, that when you look at this, and Caz, I'm glad you caught this because it shows that this is not just a contrail.
Yeah.
A contrail would not have the capacity to have this type of reflective characteristics.
That's right. Totally. And it's like it's solid.
Look at this. This is quite amazing.
Yeah. I've got lots of these videos, Wayne, on these chemtrails at night to dig some out.
A lot of times I'm trying to get to this 2 stars. Now, I happen to know these. That is Venus. And how I know this, Caz, is, all right, it's about 7:35 here. When the sun will go down in the west, your 2 objects, there's one right there, by the way, but I'm going to try to show you something. I saw them here. Here we go. So these are the 2 stars and the Venus, and they're forming a beautiful triangle, folks. If you go out and look out to the west, so I know that this was taken at the same time. It's very interesting. This is how we know that these are authentic. And I'm going to, there's Venus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see 2 companion stars that'll be right up here. This is great footage. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
There they are. See those 2? Now, everyone go out tonight. Go after about 40 minutes after sunset, and you'll see these 2 stars, and you'll see Venus down here. So anyway, good capture here, Caz.
Cheers.
I love it.
There's a lot more where that came from, mate.
So now at night, since you spend a lot of time looking at this, What are you seeing?
Right. I'm picking up a serious energy with the night vision. I have two sets. I have one super duper duper zoom binocular style. They're like military style, yeah. That I think they've got 1,000-foot zoom on. And that one was taken with the smaller version, which is just like, it's a lot smaller, but it's really good quality. And it picks up on energy. This is mad, because this is when the orbs came. An orb came in front of me, which is that disc.
Yeah, yeah.
And then another orb comes along and chases it off. You watch, because you can tell it's. You wait. It there. Look, you see this other orb come in.
I do.
It confronts it, and then it chases it off. And that was happening in front of my face. Now, what's going on there?
Well, I'll tell you, you're the second person. I think Jennifer, and only third, because I have to say Sandra D, Jennifer Collins, you.
Yeah.
Now I think that it's, in fact, as I'm sitting here recalling, the list is growing longer. What is with you?
Around me. I think if you look under the heading on my channel, Orbs and Infrared.
Okay, we'll go there.
There's some amazing footage of orbs that I catch with the night vision, and they seem to be attracted to me. And this is only since I've had like this energy around me since I started researching the sun.
Okay.
And
it does not surprise me.
It's kind of moved in, if you like.
Now, what am I looking for?
You want to go to playlists.
Okay, I'm on the on your playlist. Okay.
All right. Orbs Infrared it is. It's go down a bit. It's just its own created playlists. If you go onto my channel, the homepage, and go under extreme, keep going down. Keep going. Here we go. This one here. You want to go on to the third one, not third one, the second one. This one, or the fourth one in.
This one here?
Try that.
Okay. Here we go.
Right.
So this is great camera work. I think it's great when you have the
it picks up obviously the white dots are the stars.
Yeah.
But you have to watch the energy. It picks up, it's like, do you see it coming off there?
Mm-hmm.
Off in orbs.
I think there are scientists, I know astrophysicists, I know several other physicists are now using infrared technology to really begin to, and I'm just simply quoting some of their work, that there is a whole new area of science here that we are not aware of. And you're obviously, Caz, very intuitive picking this up.
Well, I just know that certain clouds aren't clouds, and they're actually
exactly
a form of energy or being, I reckon, because they seem to home in on me, and I can actually film them.
Now,
I know that sounds crazy.
Wow, that one was pretty cool.
There's a lot of any of the orb ones, and I seem to pick up these snow orbs, right, Wayne?
Okay. I saw one of those.
Yeah, there's one that's snowflake orbs.
Here we go.
Yeah, and this is on my bed. This is my blanket, and I'm using. Now you'll see them fly by, and this is just with my phone. Now you watch, they actually fly.
Mm-hmm. I saw one
And
go
then
by.
you see one go really slowly across my bed. It's just strange. And I think these are part of what this energy is that's connected to me, because they come out in orbs. And if you watch in a sec, you'll see one go really slowly across the bed. It's just crazy.
There it is. There, did you just see? There it is.
There it is. It sort of does a detour. Like,
Yeah, let's go back on that.
yeah, they do. They seem to be flying around in.
You know, literature is full of, look at that. That's very cool. Yeah.
And see that one? They do. They see them. No, they're just like, and that's in my bedroom. They live with me. They've moved in.
I think that's very, you know, as I'm sitting here, like I said, I can, medieval literature, it goes back as far as we have, is that legend has it of these beings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair. I'm letting that play again because I think that is just so cool.
This is cool. And the weird thing is, Wayne, when I'm sat in my bed, because that's just like a grey furry blanket.
There it is, right there. Look at that, folks.
I can see their energy without any gadget.
Look at the one down here.
It's, do you know, like when you
That's cool.
see sort of heat rising,
Mm-hmm.
and you get that like jelly wobble. That's what I see around me all the time.
I was just trying to see what's in the chat room here. Man, it's going by so quick. I got to do a speed reading class. Wow. That's like, okay. I mean, seriously, I've never seen it this fast. This is nuts. Okay. So
I don't normally share
look what you've done. You brought that energy here. So you have visitors that are attracted to you, my dear.
I have, and it's not very, it's hard to talk about it because I don't know how people are going to react.
Well, no, let's talk about this. Do you sense a presence, a sentient consciousness?
I hear them and I
You
smell
hear them, okay. And smell.
The smell is very strong, yeah.
What's the smell like?
Now. They're here now. But,
okay, what's the smell like?
The smell is amazing.
I'll tell you what I have here. I know when there's a presence here because I can smell. It is the most intense. It's a beautiful smell. It's one that.
Smell. Thank you.
Yeah, it makes me want to think I'm almost floating on clouds, and it's just got this aroma.
When I smell it, I'm like, I say, you smell lovely. Because they do. And it's like this bit, do you know what it reminds me of? It's like a perfume, gorgeous cake mix of.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, but it's amazing. And it's so nice to smell it. And
when you say that you can hear them, lavenders is what I heard one person. You know, I've had that smell. Yeah, I did that. I did that video, Brian. I really did. Does your soul stink? You know.
Oh no, it's not mine.
You know, the point is that when we condemn ourselves, when we become our own judge and critic, and we criticize ourselves for just the fact that we're living sentient beings, that has a tendency to make your soul stink. Where if you just love yourself and you love others, you're going to smell good. That's the point.
Well, the sound is a frequency.
Ah,
right.
That I can dig.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Very, very high. And it is a language that I've learned to talk back in with the frequency. How do you get that? If you understand me.
I do understand that.
Right. Because there's no words. And I can hear them chat. I call it chatting, but I know when they're around because I can hear this, like it's like a, can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
That's the noise I have to make.
Okay.
And that's what it sounds like in my head. And I know it's not tinnitus. People try and say, oh, it's tinnitus. It's
No,
not.
no, 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 no. I mean, here's what I challenge people when they come back with that is, does thought make a sound?
Exactly.
Yeah, it does.
It's like hearing a strong electrical thought
Yeah.
sound.
It's sometimes what we can get as almost that premonition, you know, where you hear that voice. I've heard it. Don't go that way. It's not a loud voice.
Yeah. It's very bizarre. It's took me a long time to get used to it because when I seen this, I didn't know what was happening and I was on my own with it. Yeah. And it was very hard to either go down that road and lose the plot totally or keep control and understand what is happening and learn about what is happening to me. And I obviously chose the learning. And there's nothing I can look up, Wayne, in a textbook to help me with it. You know, there's no knowledge written about it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to basically learn it myself and understand it from scratch.
Fascinating.
It's mind-blowing. I love it. It's amazing. Because it's nothing to be afraid of.
No. And in fact, I have a favor to ask when you talk with them. So maybe they could give us an insight. And listen, I'm putting this out there to everyone that's listening to this. If you have that sensitivity that Caz has, where you can actually communicate with the unseen realm, I believe it's real and I believe it happens. Here's the thing. If there's a cataclysm, something going to happen, I wonder if their life forms can pick up on the same type of vibration.
Yeah.
That is something if you talk with them, I'd love to visit with them, but you know, the way I look at it, you have the connection. Ask them. I really would like to know what they see.
Yeah. They show me basically they're in everything. Do you know it's like the ether? It's like if you look at a tree or if you look at the grass, if you take a picture and you zoom in, you will see that there are beings in all of it. That everything that it's like everything is everything. It's hard to explain it.
No. You're doing it. You're doing an elegant job.
That everything is alive and everything has energy. This is what it's shown me. And when you look up at the sky, I don't know if you get it, but I do. I think I'm just one of them that's a bit more, I don't know, see things, but the clouds, certain clouds, I understand where the word iCloud comes from now. Because the amount of eyes I see in the clouds, not just eyes, faces.
I have people who have written to me, Caz, that have actually, and I have to say, I think what I've seen of the evidence is that there is a species that lives in the clouds.
Definitely. I totally agree with that.
You know, I'm convinced of it.
That is what I pick up on the night vision, because I'll tell you what I could do one night. It'd be nice to go, if possible, live with the night vision. If that's possible.
That would be a very interesting.
Definitely.
You see, I think that if we can get ourselves in a position, Caz, that where we're not judgmental immediately, but we're open enough that we can accept the fact that life comes in many different forms, many different shapes, and in many different energies. Definitely. And that part of the problem of the physical presence of the body is that we cut off, I was talking with Jennifer Collins on this, that I believe that we have this natural inherited ability to speak the language that our people first spoke. I think that we have the ability as well as that we communicated with those other life forms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you are the example of what can happen to a sentient being, sovereign being, that can begin to communicate not only with the divine, but the divine's creation.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, it is cool.
It is cool.
I love it because I tell you what, from 3 years of being here, I'm back in England and bonding with this energy because I didn't know what it was, you know. And it doesn't have a solid, it's not solid. You can't go there, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I can look at the wall now and I can see its energy. It's like imagine a mirage, not a mirage. Imagine heat rising, but it's blowing in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see it against the wall, say like a white wall, you can see it. It's like pulsing. It's amazing. And especially at night, I know at night, I don't know what it does to me, but when I go to sleep, because I fight sleep to the very last thing because I'm watching it, yeah. Like, I can see you.
I love it.
Right next to my face and it's going and I'm like, right, and before I know it, I'm asleep because, you know, I work hard and that. And next thing you know, it's mornings, but I know I've woke up in the night before because something's woke me and I've seen something come off me.
Interesting.
It's not to be afraid of because I never have anxiety with it. And
Yeah.
if this was bad, I would feel it. And I never do. But I do say to it, for goodness sake, give me a break sometimes. And it does, yeah.
Well, people are saying, Hadley, I'm seeing yours right now, that they love you. They sense that energy. You know, something that Dr. Alberts has taught me now about and she didn't even do this. It's one of the effects of just being around her, is that now when I look in the spiritual realm, I see something different. What I see now is that when energy can begin to manifest matter, that's sentient consciousness. And I don't need to be afraid of it. What I need to be is sensitive to the effort that it's taking for it to manifest itself in such a manner that I can see it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing we need to be afraid of. And this is the thing. I mean, I stopped watching horror films and I don't watch telly at all. I only watch what I choose to on here. And I used to be terrified of the dark as a child. Absolutely terrified, right? And now, because I don't allow that in my head, that nonsense, and because my work involves delivering out in the darkness in little villages next to graveyards and stuff like that, if I watched that stuff, I'd never get out of the van.
It's true.
I can't be allowed to be scared. And I've got people shopping, I've got the groceries to do. I'll be like, get it, I'm not getting out. Yeah, come on. I can't do that in my job, you know. So
I just had the scene of American Werewolf in London, you know, they're out on the moors.
That stuck in my head and I was terrified of that.
You see the psychic connection, you know? There you go, folks. You saw it in real time. Here, we're at least 5,000 miles apart, and immediately the psychic connection. That is cool. All right, go on. Good reason not to watch that stuff.
That was my worst film in the world ever. That film, mate.
I thought David just didn't get it.
The graphics were too real for its day and age.
Listen, the soundtrack was good. Van Morrison always has some great music.
Blue Moon now, since that.
You did. Bloom.
I know.
But it's so interesting, Caz, how you bring that up, that, we have to devoid ourselves of that type of psychic compression, because that will be the manifestation that we would most likely project out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is it. People associate anything that is extraterrestrial or unexplained
Yeah.
to do with what they've watched on the telly, on the TV, or what's been drilled into them through space programs. And it's a lot of negative. There's not a lot of positive.
It's nothing positive, you're right.
And so I had to really detach myself from everything I'd ever been taught when this I don't know what I call it, entity started communicating with me. Well, it's moved in, Wayne. I live with it.
I can believe that. I can believe that.
24/7. And it's become, I see it, it's become my friend. A friend, I don't know, I see it as a multiple consciousness, because when it has a way of showing itself to me on my blanket, I know this sounds crazy, but it can no, I don't know how to say it. It's changing all the time, right? So when I see a face of how it's trying to show me what it looks like, within 2 seconds it's changed into another feature and another feature. It's constantly changing. And I sit and watch it on my blanket next to me, and I've got this blanket full of things looking back at me. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hi, how you doing? How are you today? And I'm sat watching, say, you on YouTube, and I also sat with them looking at me, watching you.
When you were talking, that doesn't surprise me, because I see us and I look at myself as an individual. My mind is constantly changing.
Yeah.
Now, why, if I was in the spiritual realm, that I had ascended above the physical need, it would make sense that if thought is represented by the emotion or the thought at the moment, it would be 1,000 faces.
This is 1,000 faces.
Yeah.
Seriously. And it's in everything. It's like, you call it the ether, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's what I'm seeing.
I believe so.
I do.
I believe that.
I've been dying to talk to you to this about months. And it's like a big...
People accuse me. They say, you know something you're not talking about. And I'm going, what?
I'm sharing it now. You're never going to hear the end of it.
Well, the whole world's hearing it. So I think this is good.
I think it's about time the world knew about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've been carrying this for 3 years. And I'm not able to talk to anyone about it without them all of a sudden, like, friends have not become friends anymore.
You're not on the Christmas list anymore, huh? Well, that's all right.
But I know I can talk about it here. So.
Yeah, one of the things, as everyone knows, I'm a great fan of Philo. I love his writing. I love his approach, and there are many other great philosophers out there. But the thing that Philo taught me was that the air around us, Caz, is so full of life.
Absolutely.
And we go through life blind to their presence.
Absolutely.
And what you've done is that you've made a connection, in which I believe that there's going to be more and more of that, Caz, because people will hear this and they will know that it's possible for themselves to do what you're doing. I think it's great to be able to have that connection.
Yeah. And maybe they're seeing it already, but they don't realize what it is.
Mm-hmm. I'd encourage you over on your channel to let people know about this. Then I'll have you back on, because I think that this is something so many of us are looking for. We know that the spiritual realm exists. We know that there is a realm that exists beyond this physical plane. So many of us so desperately want to connect to that, and that's why people are drawn to the deity of a god.
Yeah.
It allows us to touch the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely touching something.
It's like, damn right.
No, it's awesome.
Well, I just want to compliment you, Caz, that you have such a beautiful energy to you and the strength that, listen, I admire people who can come forth and speak from within that which they believe and that which they experience. And I think that you're a beautiful soul for doing it.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Well, we're all here together working on that. And
definitely. And if it wasn't for you, Wayne, seriously, you're my #1 channel, yeah?
I didn't know that, but
you are.
Yeah.
I'm just like, when's Wayne going to upload a video?
Well, that humbles me. Thank you, Cass. That's very, very, very kind. Now you're going to make me blush. Boy, this hour has come and gone. Will you come back on?
Absolutely.
I think what I'd love to do is get you and get a group together. I mean, I'd love to have, Sue G on here as well, and Jennifer. And I think that even getting Sandra D and just have us, you see, you women folk, you can teach us guys some things. And we just need to, step down off our high horses and humble ourselves enough to listen to what you have to say. And I'd love to maybe think about that. And I'd love to have you back on again, talking about your experience, because there is something, Caz, you are meant to do in bringing this out.
I think I'm meant to, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to be talked about.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know why I like this? I'll tell you, because the energy here is not one steeped in superstition, not steeped in a negative base. What I sense here is a real peace. There's a quietness.
There is, yeah.
Now, that tells me everything.
Yeah. There's nothing religious you can connect it to.
No. And I think that that's so often where we try to get religious experiences from. Listen, I know that's what, when I left Christianity, one of the things I kept telling people, I said, you're not getting it. People want to see the supernatural. They want to be a part of something greater than themselves, something that the unseen, that they can begin to make tangible.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
And if we're going to pass through this birth portal to the other side, I say let's try to find now and make peace with both sides.
Yeah.
Caz, I think you're the first point of that step.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, folks. I tell you what, y'all have just been so great here tonight. Thank you. You're just some of the best people. I got to tell you what, Caz, I've been looking at the chat room, and the energy in these chat sessions are just.
Is it busy? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you just want to go and give everyone a hug, and just go high five, man. I mean, I just love this. Caz, I just admire you so much. Thank you for coming on. I know you were a little nervous about it, but I tell you, again, I think once you lady folks begin to get the mic in front of you, whoa, we're going to learn some stuff. So, all right, stay on with me as we come off, folks. Y'all be good. We'll get back together here real soon, and have yourselves a great weekend. Appreciate all of you. Caz, thank you. Much love to everyone. We'll talk to y'all real soon.